y'all doing, family? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Venusian Intuition. If you are new, welcome. Grab a drink, grab a snack. If you are already part of the gang, you know what time it is. And we are currently in our return phases of the planet series. So I'm just going to finish it out. And today I'm going to talk about a Uranus return and how that will look. Basically on a collective level and on a personal level, things you can expect, and how you can survive these Uranus returns, because you know Uranus can be quite something to deal with. So without further ado, family, let me get out this phone so I can go ahead and start this video. Okay, so basically in astrology, the most popular return we all know of is our Saturn return. But of course, with all the planets, they experience a returning phase. And basically, return is when a planet returns to the same sign and degree it was at your time of birth. So Uranus usually takes around 84 years to make a complete return, but it only spends 7 years in each zodiac sign. So the effects of a return can last up to 2 years after. So you can still feel the effects of the return up to 2 years. So first discovered in 1781. And around that discovery time, dramatic trends were uprising all over the world. And this brought on the era of like a revolutionary phase, which led to like American government in France bringing just like a lot of like aggravation and just dissatisfaction to the citizens of the countries. So the second manifestation of this was when the Industrial Revolution period, and this gave birth to like the modern steam engine and the cottagen, and many other things that they invented within this Industrial Revolutionary time. So when you look at the planet of Uranus and kind of what it stands for, when you see uprising trends, say around the world or say within our own country, you'll kind of have a better understanding of what you're dealing with and what's going on in the sky that may trigger these events. So Uranus is our planet of rebellion, the unexpected, discovery, limitless, freedom, technology. A Uranus return can be life-changing and one that you will learn major life lessons from, whether it's on a collective level, like I mentioned before, or on a personal level, just looking at your natal chart to see where your Uranus placement is. So a little bit more about how a Uranus return will look on a personal level. So say doing a Uranus return, depending on its house placement and what's aspecting it, it can bring in unexpected new beginnings that are positive or negative, of course, depending on what's aspected and, of course, your actions toward this when it happens. So say one manifestation of this will be, say you lose your job unexpectedly, but 3 days later you receive an email from a job that you really wanted, that you applied to maybe say the beginning of the year or months ago, and say right after you lose this job, these people email you, and they invite you for an interview. The interview goes so well to the point they actually are willing to hire you, and not only are they willing to hire you, they're willing to pay you 3 times more that you were making at this previous job, and they're willing to relocate you with all expenses paid. So this could be possibly be a Uranus return happening, or somewhere in the chart where this unexpected thing happens, but there's a blessing coming right around the corner from it. So a negative manifestation of this would be, say, same case scenario with losing the job, but on this manifestation it's a little bit negative, because say maybe you have like a few hard aspects, like oppositions or squares that may make this Uranus return rather hard. So say in this negative manifestation, you lose your job unexpectedly, you fall behind on your car note, you're struggling to pay your rent, then your car breaks down, and now you can't buy money to get your car fixed, or get caught up to date on your rent and your car note and things like that, because you owe payday loans. You have failed to pay back those payday loans that you asked for in the past. So you can see it kind of like the domino effect here, how basically one bad thing happened, and basically it's just like a domino effect of things happen one after the other. So the lesson to be learned here in this negative manifestation is learn to be prepared here. Properly prepare yourself. This could look like having enough savings for 3 to 6 months in case anything happens like this, you unexpectedly lose your job. Proper spending habits, spending on things you need, not buying things you want all the time because you simply want it or you're bored, you know. Also, educate yourself, basic financial education, you know, investing, entrepreneurship, and many other things. These are just small of many things that you can do to kind of soften the blow when the Uranus return comes here, especially if you have a hard aspect to Uranus in your natal chart. So you have to be mindful of that. So it's not always just some unseen forces just attacking you. There's always something to it, and it's just best to be prepared versus having to get ready because you wasn't ready. So, you know, life happens. Life is unexpected. But Uranus is here to show us this. Uranus can be rude basically when it's doing it because Uranus don't care. Uranus, like Pluto, is here to see what we're really made of, how we react in abrupt, unexpected, drastic situations, chaotic situations. Uranus here would test and stretch your limits to see what power you would extract from all the chaos that's surrounding you and maybe what's going on in your personal life. So be mindful of that here. Even if say you do have a hard aspect to your Uranus, don't let it get the better of you. Don't let it get you down, and don't let all that chaos and that negativity win. Yes, all of these things are going against you, but it's your attitude and your steps and your actions that you take within that chaos that's going to determine how things turn around for you. So be mindful of that. Now, usually during the Uranus return, especially one that is normally say like in an air sign, usually expect there to be changes in say patterns, structures, systems, when it comes to things like religion, educational systems, technology, especially when Uranus is in the air sign, specifically Gemini, but any air sign. Now, a manifestation of Uranus return here was the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, and World War II. And Gemini was transitioning Uranus at this time. So now that I think about it, we are due for another Uranus return in Gemini coming up in 2025. And it will remain in the sign of Gemini, of course, until 2032. But again, this information is not to scare you or alarm you. It's just simply to make you aware of what's going on astrologically, because believe it or not, if you follow my channel, of course, I feel that you do believe in astrology and the science and the art behind it. And a lot of the things that take place above the sky has an effect on us, whether we want to admit it or not. And not just us personally, but also events and things going on around us on a massive level. Uranus gets a bad rap because of the nature of the planet, but how I look at all of the planets, all planets have a good and a positive, a negative, a good and a bad, a negative and a positive. And once you figure out and really understand and know your personal science, aka your zodiac natal chart, and how to work with certain, say, squares or oppositions, or hard aspects in your planets, when certain things happen, you'll be better prepared and you won't be a victim, and you won't be one of those people who is not really willing to take responsibility for, their actions or the things that they manifest in their current reality. And to me, this is what this is all about, is using these sciences to have a better control and have a better control of the things that's around us. And it's not saying that we can control every single thing around us, but again, it's all about not becoming a victim to the things that are around you. And it's better to have a heads up and have a knowledge of these things, because I know once before I got into this type of knowledge, I would feel certain things. I would notice certain things going on within the world, let's say the people around me or the people on my job, but I really didn't have a intellectual understanding of what was going on around me. So now that I do, when these things happen, I know how to better prepare for or how to work with the current sciences within my chart to kind of offset any harsh things that may come my way. So I hope I wasn't babbling too long. That was my Uranus return video, and I will see you all in the next upload.